is away. And the kick is, it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, good people and bad people, you decide which one you are. We in the building, episode 2, season 4, Eagles Elite Podcast. I'm joined by Key right now. You might possibly get someone else here soon, maybe not. What up, Key?
Not much, chilling on this Wednesday evening. No football, of course. Gotta wait until the season starts, but we do get to enjoy some good basketball games. So, talking some birds tonight, so that's always a good thing.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to remind everybody that, I told you I'm wearing the trophy hat this year, but also I just want to throw in the background, because we might have some people that are non-Eagles fans that might hop in. Just want to remind everybody, who the champs are. As John Cena used to say when people actually like them, the champ is here.
The champ is here. Actually, he got that from Jadakiss, but we going,
He did. But, when you're speaking to mainstream people, you got to give them the mainstream realness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But, so we in the building. We started off last week. We ended up talking about all the free agency stuff. And that was fun. You know what I'm saying? There's a chance to kind of reconnect with everything, get back right, get your mind back into Eagles talk. We're going to continue that this week, y'all. We did briefly talk about a first round pick, but we're just going to go back and start with our draft picks. And then time permitting, might go into the undrafted free agents as well. And, give y'all a little bit of thoughts on what's happening with our Philadelphia Eagles. So, draft picks. We know the picks, but let's talk about them. We're going to start in round 1. Pick 31, Jahad Campbell, Alabama. Key, what are your thoughts on Jahad Campbell?
Well, how he does it again. Local kid, to be exact, from Jersey. So in the surrounding in the area, grew up an Eagles fan. Get to play with get to play with his team that he enjoys. He fell. How he wanted to go up at least 10 spots to get him. I honestly feel like they didn't need to move up one, but that's Howie. He still would have been there at 32 because we all know Kansas City was going to take offensive linemen. We didn't need offensive linemen. So, I get the logic, but we didn't have to move up, but he fell, right in Howie's hands. So definitely a great pickup. Second year in a row, players are just there on the board and just fall into the Eagles of all people. You want to just let the players fall. So the guy Howie wanted, and they got him. I'm happy with it. Another linebacker for Vic Fangio. You know how he likes his linebackers. Maybe some insurance from Nakobe Dean. We don't know how his injury is. Do we call him injury prone yet? But he, some insurance. We already got Zach Braun tied up, so he's staying. So definitely gonna need somebody on the long side of him, whether that's Nakobe Dean, whether that's Campbell, or some of the other guys we have that's gonna come in. So I like the pickup.
I like the pickup as well. On the Nakobe Dean thing, for me, I just say we've seen the history. Every year Nakobe's been in the league, he's been hurt. So I think you at least got to have another guy that's starting caliber at the linebacker position. You might want to reset that because of the money you're going to have to spend on guys like more than likely Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Reed Blankenship is going to be up in a few years if he has because I think he signed one extension, but he'll be back up in a few years. Then, our other young guys got to start saving money for them. So He may be one of those cap casualties, or he may be a guy that says, I know I've been injured, so when time comes to talk contract, I'm willing to be reasonable as far as what I'm looking for, all those sort of things. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But I do like the Jahad Campbell pick. And the thing to me is, when everybody's saying the same thing that's always being said, I love it. And you know what that is? How did we let him fall to the Philadelphia Eagles? People talked about the move slot. So last week I was kind of unsure with that as well. What I'm getting, and this may not be 100% accurate, but what I'm getting is the reason that it happened was there was concerns that other teams were talking with Kansas City, and they were going to trade up and get Campbell. So we said we'll just trade up one pick. It shouldn't cost a lot, and that way we can ensure that we get Campbell. So I think that's the reason for the kind of questionable at best move up one spot. We kind of want to make sure that other guys didn't hop in and get Campbell, and I'm all for it. If there was ever any concern about that, then that's the right move, because you don't want to not pay attention to that, and then you get in a situation where a guy like Jahad Campbell falls through your fingers for one pick because you didn't want to move up and make that move. Now, in terms of Campbell, the player, right? Like you said, from New Jersey, so a hometown guy. He's a guy that good stats, top 15 national prospect in college. Of course, he ended up in IMG Academy senior year. A lot of people end up there because it kind of is like a college prep school for athletes. Stats wise, I'm just gonna go over some of the stats. In college, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, 5.5 sacks. Right, first team All SEC. Played really well his senior year, and you want to get a guy coming off that we know he was going to be a guy that was going to be able to contribute to the team, not just right away, but down the line. And he'll be a guy that will be very helpful for this team, and hopefully we'll be able to keep things moving. Now, after you get past him, another interesting pick that I also liked. There were a lot of picks that I said, okay, like, you may have been looking at, because honestly, for me, for this draft, and I know we kind of touched on it last week, even though he's not an Eagles player. He almost was, Shedeur Sanders, in his fall. So he's kind of like, where's he going to end up landing? What's going to end up happening with him? So that was kind of, I was curious about that. Second round, pick 64, round 2. We picked Andrew Mukuba, a safety from Texas. Thoughts on Mukuba?
I like it a lot. I mean, we lost CJ to one Texas team in the Texans because for some reason Howie likes doing business with Nick Casario and the Texans over there. So we get rid of CJ Gardner-Johnson to bring in Mukuba, who is a tackler. He knows how to he knows how to jump in front of balls, interceptions. Good coverage guy. So I felt like it was an even fit. So we lose CJ, but we gain Mukuba, and I think it's the match made in heaven. Just the type of his style he was, just the type of person that CJ was. I think he's going to fit in very nicely. So I was not mad at this selection at all.
Yeah, I liked him too. One big thing about him that you may or may not know is he migrated. It's a little fun fact about him. From Zimbabwe, he immigrated at 9 years old. So born in Zimbabwe, been in America since 9 years old. I love that he was a 4-year starter. That says that he's a guy that did a lot for his team. A lot of good instincts. He can play slot receivers. He can read the field as what you call like a robber. Uses instincts and ball skills and make plays. So he's a guy you can put. What a robber is kind of like it's almost like to make it simple, it's almost like a hybrid safety linebacker, right? And he's a guy that can play that. He has that skill set. So again, You look at this guy and you think maybe this is who they were targeting, or a guy like this. And the reason why they felt comfortable moving on from CJGJ so that they could slide into a different type of player, a younger player that, a guy like Vic Fangio can spend a lot of time with and develop, but a cheaper option while you're continuing to pay other guys. So these are things to concentrate on and think about when you're building a roster. I know as fans, which we all are, of course, or maybe haters, some of those are around till we enjoy them. But fans or people following the team, what you're looking at, you're kind of thinking like, why did this guy go? Why did that guy go? But then you start seeing the draft, free agency, different things. You're like, oh, okay, this makes sense why we maybe made that move. So we'll see how it pans out. But at least in theory, we're trying to make moves to kind of fill some of the needs that we had. So, I don't have a problem with filling these. I actually enjoy it. All right, our third pick, which was a 4th round pick because we did not pick in the 3rd round. Pick 111. We got a defensive tackle, Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Let me say this, defensive tackle. If we went through the first 3-4 rounds and did not get a defensive tackle, let's be frank and let's be honest, a lot of us would have been whining and crying and complaining, including me. I'm not going to front because I understand the need for that, especially with what we've lost. Yeah, we do got some other guys there. You can sign, free agents and everything. But the main point is simply this. You've got to have defensive tackles. One of the reasons why we were so dominant last year, the defensive tackle play, defensive line play. We needed at least one, and we got one. Key, your thoughts on Ty Robinson?
Ty Robinson could be the steal of the draft. Nebraska definitely can play on the line. He's actually played some fullback, so it's possible we might implement him in the running game, maybe. If they so-called ban the tush push, I'm sure we're going to get motivated, revamp the offense, especially with short yardage situations, and change it up. That's fine. Y'all want to take the tush push away? That's perfectly fine. We are capable of getting the yards. So, but no, I do like the Ty Robinson pick, and he's definitely going to do some wonders on the line there.
Yeah, he should be a guy that at least gets playing time year one. Maybe not the starter year one, maybe not out there playing a lot of snaps, but he should be a guy that is definitely going to be a part of the team and be in a rotation this year. We know Vic loves a rotation.
Yeah,
we know that,
especially if he wants to front four to do all the damage, all the pressuring, so you don't have to blitz. You have drop your linebackers, and then also you got your secondary. So we've seen it in the Super Bowl. Front four got all the pressure. That's a big Fangio defense.
And you notice Key said front four. They tricked you by walking up a linebacker on either side for the whole game. So even though it's technically a 3-4 defense, it looks like a front four, and that's an important aspect, like you said, of a Vic Fangio defense. That's what he does, because he can see which side of your line he feels like at that time he can make the move on and use that. Love to see it. I love what he's doing with the team. I think Ty Robinson is a guy that fixed it really well. He got to meet the team at the Senior Bowl. I was reading up on the draft picks a little bit. He's versatile. You throw on the tape, he's a guy that you see in college you like. The Eagles actually were another player that we almost jumped the gun and tried to trade up for. But he ended up being there because we had pick 96 and we ended up trading back. And then they were actually thinking about jumping up again to make sure that they got him, but he ended up being there. Ty Robinson ended up being there after we dropped back. So we like to take a lot of dares, right? But they seem to have been working out lately when it comes to draft picks. Roster as a whole, honestly. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Round 5, pick 145, cornerback Mac Williams from Central Florida. And if you notice, we're not talking about measurables and all that. We got plenty of time for that. We just, impact what we think they're going to do on the team, how we think they fit. Those are the things that we're looking at right now, y'all. We ain't worried about the measurables. Everybody can see that. You've heard those 50,000 times already.
Right.
So Mac Williams, Central Florida. What you got for him, Key?
Haven't really looked into him. Definitely, somebody that's going to come into the secondary. Not saying he's going to start right away, but I'm sure he'll get those minutes. Those maybe special teams, kind of how Ringo was. So I'm sure he'll be competing for a roster spot, or sometime. So I have to read up on him, but he's cool with me because we share the same last name. So, we good.
He's Big Williams, right?
Still, he has Williams in his name.
Yeah. So we just okay. We just gonna add an MC in there. I got you. Fair enough. So this is the one guy I mentioned height with, and that's just because when you're looking at corners, height's important. He's a 5'10" guy. He was the best defender on his team last year. He played at UAB before he transferred to Central Florida. So this is a guy that, he's been playing his whole entire career. When I look at him, I think that he's a guy that you could look at and say, if at some point you wanted to move DeJean from the slot and put him outside, maybe having a guy like Mick Williams right there would be a perfect move for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my throat's jacked up, so I keep sipping on something, but we're gonna still make it happen. So I just think that he's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Like you said, he's probably gonna be a special teams player, obviously a backup coming in. There is a spot up for grabs, but you'd have to be put in a wonderful opportunity to have a shot at that. But I think he could definitely be a depth piece for us, a guy that we could develop, a guy that, you bring in, and maybe he is a little bit further along than we even think he is, but still just having a little bit of extra time to develop always helps guys, and being on a team that has a championship pedigree, lost some pieces, but still has a lot of that base there. I think it's a great fit, especially where we drafted him at. Because a lot of things is too where you're drafting. We're in the 5th round. Right. We're talking about guys in the 5th round. So you're not getting a complete player normally in the 5th round unless your last name is Sanders. Shots will be taken to the NFL for that for the next couple of years. I'm not letting that go. All right. Because that was ridiculous. We ain't gonna get back into it, but it was just ridiculous. All right. Then we drafted another linebacker, another Georgia Delphia Eagle.
Bulldog.
Linebacker Smael Mondon. Another Bulldog.
So obviously he's played with these guys.
And
he's played with Jalen, and he's played with some of these guys already. He's going to fit in again, another rotational piece. More depth at the linebacker spot. Can never. In this type of defense, you can never have too many. You never know who's going to go down. Again, he might be. I know some defensive guys be on special teams. Could either, fit in the rotation good or put you on special teams. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he's, man. I'll give you some career stats from him, right? Because, like I said, we get later in, you may not know as much about him. He's from Georgia. He had 51 games played, scored at 32 at Georgia. 213 tackles, 25 QB hits, 17.5 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. And then last year, he led the team. Not last year, but in 2022, he led the team with 76 tackles the year that they won the second title when he was there. So this is a guy who's been there a little bit longer, came in later than some of the other guys we have, but definitely played with them, definitely has some camaraderie with those guys, and is ready to come in and do the thing. And the most important thing to me, personally speaking, the most important thing, coming in, doing the thing. He came in, he did the thing, he made it happen. That's what we needed. That's what we got. So he's a guy that I think can feel, like you said, that rotational role. He's going to do what he does. He's a consistent guy. And when you're consistent, it smooths over from college, right? We talk about, oh, college is this and pro game is that and blah, this and blah, that all the time. But while that is true, having certain skills do move over. And then one of the other things is I like about him a lot, speed. He's a very fast dude. He makes things happen in space, and he does what needs to be done. He's going to move in space. He's going to cover space. You know, space is his friend. He's fast. Obviously, he's starting to get lower in the draft. There may be questions about certain things, and that's what coaching is for. That's what development is for, and that's why we got an OG coach like Vic Fangio to work on these guys and get them right. But yeah, I like Munden a lot, man. I didn't realize he was still in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, I looked at it and I saw he's still in college, like, because he was on that team with them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
right.
He's still in college. All right, well, that works. That works. That's another guy that we got to help us be as good as we can. So then, round 5, versatility. We got a center guard, Drew Kendall from Boston College. You might ask, why we want to draft a guy that can play center and guard? Well, I mean, you never can have enough guys that can do that. You never can have enough guys that can do that. You need that. You need to be able to make that happen. Well, second, y'all, we're going to welcome in the diva herself. Diva, what's going on?
What's going on, y'all? Sorry, I'm late. Life been life in a day.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
That's right. So we're just talking about all the picks. We have gotten down to Drew Kendall, the center guard from Boston College that we picked up with the 168th pick. Big boy, 6'4", 308. He's all ACC. Went to the East-West Shrine Bowl. He's already talking about how excited he is to play with Jeff Stoutland. And he believes Jeff Stoutland will do a lot for him. He's another guy that we feel like we got really lucky that he was there.
Yeah, we did.
So, Diva, anything you want to add? I know you're getting here a little bit late. And then, of course, we're going to take a minute and go back to the other picks to see if you want to add anything, because we don't want to leave your input out.
I'm just glad that we are, grabbing depth and filling in spaces where we had lost, some key players, because if we're trying to repeat, that you definitely got to refill. For sure.
I get it. Key?
Another depth piece. We like to how we love the trenches. So it starts with the front. So protection for Jalen, making them holes for Saquon or whoever's running the ball back there. Stick me back there. I'm sure I can run some yardage with the offensive line we got. So, but you can't go wrong with depth pieces. And then plus people are going to be like, well, he's not going to be Lane's replacement, but you know what I mean. Like, sooner or later, other guys are going to be leaving, possibly, or retiring. No time soon, though. But Lane got a couple more years. But you get depth pieces for things like that. So by the time that time comes, they're ready to step right in like nothing happened. Easy money.
Yep. And another interesting piece of information about Drew, his dad, Pete, was drafted in the first round, and he played for the Seahawks. So his dad's also an NFL player. And when you find a lot of those guys, and I think this goes for any sport, when you find a lot of guys who their parents played in the league, maybe they weren't like a name that you remember, but they were in the league. They got that training. This young man was able from young age to kind of come up in that. They were able to be like, okay, cool. And then they got that opportunity, and now they're very excited about having that opportunity. And then they have a little bit of that understanding because they saw that they were able to be trained and developed because their dad has connections because he himself was in the league. So another interesting piece about him. I saw a lot of articles where we're talking about different people in the Eagles front office were just excited that he was there at 168. And it's kind of like we're allowing all these guys to fall to the Eagles if you're other teams, and then you're mad because they had a talent. So how can you be upset with me for having a talent when you are letting the talent get to us?
Yep.
I mean, really.
Like, they're stealing people and they're getting this and this and that, but you're letting us. You're allowing us to get talent.
Everybody trying to follow the blueprint now.
They can't do it like us.
So I find
Like
absolutely. Absolutely. So Diva, I'm gonna just go back through the other ones real quick, see if you have anything you want to add. First round pick 31, Jahad Campbell. Any thoughts on Jahad Campbell?
I mean, I saw when they had Ricky camp the other day. I didn't really see, I saw a few drills, but I think he's gonna be ready. I think he's gonna be ready to come in and start, and I think he's gonna have a real big impact. I mean, of course, he's gonna be a rookie, but I feel like with Vic Fangio, you know what I'm saying, he's really gonna be able to come in and make an impact, just like you saw Coop and Quinyon. I mean, look at Coop; he didn't play the first 3 games, 2-3 games, and he came in and got his footing together. Yeah, got his footing together and was a beast ever since then. So I'm glad he's coming in under Vic Fangio and not any of the previous coordinators that we've had the past few years, because he probably wouldn't have been looking as good. But I'm excited about him.
All right, now second round pick, safety Andrew Makuba.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot about him.
Supposedly.
Supposedly to replace CJGJ. I've been watching a lot of film and just listened to a lot of analysts on him. And from what they're saying, he's going to be able to cover that spot. I've seen a few of his his films. I did watch a few of the Texas games, and I don't know if he's going to make a CJGJ impact, because CJ was a leader on and off the field. And I think he has the potential to be that. But I don't think it's going to be his first year. But I mean, I think he's going to give us good coverage, possibly get a few picks. So yeah.
I feel it. All right, and our third pick, 4th round pick, because we didn't have a 3rd round pick, defensive tackle Ty Robinson from Nebraska. That was the only defensive lineman that we did draft.
So I'm hearing they calling him Gorilla. So you got Rhino, and then you got Gorilla, and he a big old boy, and we like them big boys. You know what I'm saying? So
big meaty man.
I'm ready to see how well he played beside Jalen Carter, Davis. I mean, we just stacking them up. So if y'all think y'all finna find some holes, you little running backs, nah, I don't think that's about to happen. You gotta worry about them big boys coming after you. And there's some big boys.
Not you little running backs.
Yeah.
All right, then 5th round pick 145, Mac Williams, cornerback from Central Florida. Any thoughts on him?
I didn't really see too much of his, but I think he'd be all right.
I love that. I think he'll be all right. And then let's see, you came in on Monday, right? So
yeah,
I think we caught up. No, you came in on Kendall. So linebacker Smell Munden, another Georgia boy. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we Georgia out. He was. Yeah. We Georgia out in this piece.
We the Philadelphia Crimson Dogs. That's who he is.
Bro, that's crazy, because I thought he was already in the league because he was on the team with Jordan Davis and all those guys on the back-to-back championship teams. So I thought he was already out, not realizing that he was, young those years, and then he still had a couple more years to play. So I thought he was already in the league. So when I saw that he was still in college in the draft, I was like, word? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to do just fine. I mean, you play with 2 people You know what I'm saying? You went to college with, you know how they play. They gonna get him up to speed, so he gonna fit right on in. You know, we love them Bulldogs. Fit right on
Shoot,
in.
about 7, 8 people you went to college with.
Yeah, the Kobe one. Kobe Dean ain't about to be out there, but you know,
But he'll be in the locker room. He'll be on the
he'll
field.
be in the
He
locker
won't be
room.
playing. But he'll be out.
He'll be on the field.
He'll be out on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? He won't be playing, but he'll be out there. All right, so then round 6, pick 181. Kyle McCord, QB from Syracuse.
I guess.
I don't even know why we wasted that on that, but
Well, you know Howie says we a QB factory, and he at least gets one every year. So him and DTR is going to fight for a third string spot.
okay. All right.
Yeah, because I
I
think
think we could
Tanner's
have used
I'm gonna just sit my
Jalen's backup. So I guess.
I think we could have used that elsewhere. I mean, I felt like we could have picked up another tight end, you know, 'cause we love Dallas Goddard, but my man is guaranteed to be hurt. You know, so
I don't know. I kind of wanted Howie to get Jimmy Horn Jr., but that was my fantasy pick, but he went to Carolina.
I'd be mad if I got picked
So he'll be
up by
looking for another
Carolina.
team in 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
I'll be mad if I got picked up by Cleveland though. Especially if I play
That-
quarterback. So McCord, I'll say this: he's a Jersey native, so he probably grew up with some love for the Eagles. We definitely did. He dreamed of being an Eagles quarterback. I don't.
Right, you just don't know what to say. Like
you have to.
you sitting there, quarterback,
grab someone
Kyle
for
McCord,
injuries.
Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
You like, huh? Okay.
You have to grab somebody in case you have like injuries or like DTR is not who we thought he was. But definitely feel like this pick could have been used elsewhere. Like I said, we only had one defensive lineman that we drafted. This could have been a second one, but Howard Arterius Roseman and Nicky Boy says that this is a guy that can compete and if needed.
He only said that because Shadura was off the board.
But I guarantee you what he'll do as far as the D lineman go is try to lowball somebody before free agency ends and go get somebody from a different team and lowball them. I'm like, oh, well, you ain't got them but like 3 more years left.
Pretty much. Another 6th-round pick. Pick 191. We drafted a tackle, Miles Hinton from Michigan.
I know his dad used to play for
thoughts on Miles Hinton. Keep it in mind, we do need tackles because we know a couple of years from now, Lane ain't gonna be about it now.
Yeah. I mean, Stoutland you, he should be all right.
Well,
y'all better get in while you fit in, because I don't know how much long Stoutland gonna be around. Better get in while you fit in. He said his dad used to play for the Colts.
His dad used to play for the Colts on the O line, so he's bred in the plain O line. So
we got a couple of guys like that. Yep, you're right. And I actually remember his dad. His dad was Chris Hinton. I actually remember him from the Broncos.
Yeah, I remember him.
Mostly from going back to watching film, because he got drafted back in '83. But yeah, I do remember hearing Chris Hinton as a young one on Denver. So yeah, and having that parent, and like I was saying earlier, is always good because you learn a lot and you see some things. You have access to certain things that you wouldn't as just normally it's just a kid that's going out to play that doesn't have that background.
Right.
So
I'll give you a 1-up. So you better be good.
right. I mean, it helps you, but you still gotta be good.
Mm-hmm.
It helps like with the longevity piece and all that good stuff. Let's see if we can get some quick measurables. I know we ain't talked a lot about size, but we talking about offensive linemen. If I can get a little information about how big he is, they might be interested. Can't always find it right away, but he's 6'6", 323 pounds.
Yep, that's about right. Oh yeah.
I would like.
Yeesh.
I would like big money man. Now, another interesting fact from him: his mama was a basketball player at Northwestern. His mother's name is Maya, was a basketball player at Northwestern, and he's from Georgia. He's from Johns Creek, Georgia. So he didn't go play for Georgia, but he got that Georgia blood in him.
You already know they move cows down there anyway, moving cows and sheep and tractors and all that stuff. So they build different down south.
Ain't they though?
Round 6, pick 207. Tackle Cameron Williams from Texas. From Texas. Another of Key's namesakes. Any thoughts, Key?
Adding more depth again. Just adding more pieces to the offensive line. Offensive line is an important key in your football. If you don't have protection, your quarterback ain't gonna be able to throw. Your running backs ain't gonna be able to make no moves. So it starts in the trenches, and that's what we're known for. We always had a good offensive line, even back to the McNabb days. Our line's always been the biggest. We've never had nobody. Kelsey was the smallest. Everybody else was 6'5" and up. So I like it. Just more depth.
And you never know who's gonna get hurt. So you always gotta have depth because anybody can get hurt at any given Sunday. Period.
I'm gonna tell you what I like about this dude above everything else. I'm not gonna get into his stats. He's 21 right now.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah,
so
youngin'.
we got some years to work on him. Yeah,
he's sweet meat. He's sweet meat.
Oh, you just able to drink.
He's that guy old enough to have a alcoholic beverage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's sweet meat.
Young boy, I like that. She's called him man sweet meat.
You're gonna make him carry all the bags. You're gonna make him carry all the bags. He got to get all the Popeyes orders. Yeah.
And Philly, what up?
What up,
we see
Philly?
you in the building over at Philly says, "What's going on, Eagles fam?"
All
right, and then last but certainly not least, our last pick of the draft, offensive. I'm tripping. Outside linebacker Antoine Powell Ryland from Virginia Tech.
Couldn't tell you nothing about him.
Me either, unfortunately.
Well, he did go to Virginia Tech.
Okay.
He was at Florida and then transferred to Virginia Tech. And he looks like a Florida dude, I'll tell you that. Like he looked like he would hit you long and hard. He looks like it.
He's so long and hard.
He's 6'2", 258 pounds. He's played all 12 games. He started all the games that he played in. He had 43 tackles, 16 sacks. The 16 sacks were third in FBS. A little bit more info because it's not like he's not a guy that I don't watch Virginia Tech, so I know a little bit about him. I think I seen maybe 1 or 2 games that he played in. I know his name was called, but over his career, he started 29 games, played in 52. He had 117 total tackles, 41 tackles for loss, 30 sacks, and 9 forced fumbles. So he made some things happen. He definitely made some things happen. So he's from Portsmouth, Virginia.
Oh,
He won a lot of
wow.
awards in 2023 and 2024. Yeah, Portsmouth. But yeah, so he did. I mean, he's the guy that I feel like in Vic's system and learning from Vic and other guys, he at some point he might take somebody else out. Like, look, I'm getting somebody's spot, but it might take a little time. You learn, you develop. We hit sometimes with later picks, sometimes we don't. So I don't have a lot of like, oh, he's going to be a starter. He's going to be a great player for us, but he seems like he has some potential, and that's good when you're drafting late. We didn't have any 7th round picks, so it makes sense that a lot of these guys that we're picking have some ability or at least a possibility because they're not 7th rounders. Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, that was our draft picks. So we'll go into the undrafted free agents here in a minute. But before that, Dallas Goedert, who we just mentioned a few minutes ago, working on a new contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. They did shop him, but he elected to stay with the Eagles for less money.
Yeah,
So
take a
what
pay
are
cut.
you ladies' thoughts on that?
I'm just trying to figure out why was that not the first option? Like, why was that really not the first option? Why was your first option to say, oh, we want to trade you out because you're getting older, you're 30 years old, whatever other excuse I heard. Like, that's all you had to do was like, man, we want to keep you here in Philly. Are you willing to take less money? Which, I mean, Goddard, that's how you know you want to be here, because he probably could have went somewhere else and made a lot of money, honestly. Way more than what he getting now. But I just feel like that should have been the first option, man.
I think they maybe
Well, they're
possibly tried
still finalizing it, but all of his money was unguaranteed this season. So he'll probably get lower cap hit and he'll get guaranteed money. But, it'd be interesting to see what it is when they actually do finalize it. But I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Thought that was interesting. And also, there are reports that Reed Blankenship has been training with Ryan Clark this offseason.
I know
So
Cooper
you get
has
Ryan
been.
Clark to train you, you're doing something.
Cooper broke them legs, child. Ryan Clark didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cooper DeJean has been training with him.
We really gonna need Reed to step up and be the leader, because damn it, you got rid of our leader. So Reed, it's on you now, buddy. It is all on you.
Yeah, Reed needs to be out there. It would be great if he can be, our a veteran leader, because play wise, there's no questions about Reed's play. Reed is who he is, but I think he's one of those guys that, because of comings and goings from the team, is going to be asked to be a little bit more of an elder statesman this year, and I think he'll be good for it. He'll be very good for it. So, you guys a rundown of our undrafted free agent signings. So we signed Darius Cooper, a wide receiver from Tarleton State.
Of course, these people, we ain't gonna know who it is.
Well, they gotta
he's a 5'11", 210-pound receiver. He finished second in D1 receiving yards with 1,450. 6 in touchdowns. He had 14. In 48 career games, he had 164 catches for 3,185 yards and 29 touchdowns. Averaged 19.4 yards per catch. Size, obviously, probably one of the reasons why he went undrafted. Also, they didn't say a lot about his route running, so he probably got a lot of plays with making a play based on over-the-top plays, big plays, chunk plays. Probably had a lot of those. But he'll be in a place where, hopefully he'll get some assistance with route running. Hopefully the staff that we've now put together is going to be able to come to take rookies and help them develop. Because there was a time when we always talked about, Cornerback and wide receiver, don't draft them because we don't do nothing but just run them in the ground and then send them somewhere else and they play well.
All facts.
So hopefully that's changed. Any thoughts, ladies, on Darius Cooper?
No, camp body, or hopefully he makes the team, practice squad. So we'll see.
Hey, man, he might be the third receiver.
I mean, so what you gonna do with Johnny Wilson?
I say Wilson possibly can make it.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson's really the fourth receiver. You know what I'm saying?
But you still got Jahan.
Man, we need a slot. We need a slot guy. We still got who?
You got Jahan.
Still got who?
For this last
Still
year.
got Jahan Dotson. His last year, but yeah. I mean, you can say who all you want, but that's who because of Jalen Hurts. That's Hurts' fault.
Well, the last time that I checked, Jalen Hurts is still the quarterback, so it may not change.
It might not, but it might. He might feel comfortable with him now. I don't know what that was about. I don't.
Look,
Jalen's
it would be
used
nice.
to who he's used to. It would be nice. I mean, he barely threw to Johnny Wilson either.
I do think we need a burner, though. I do think we need a burner in that slot. I think that's the thing. We really need a burner in that slot. And they tried to put Jahan Dotson there. And I think he would be fine as another guy we can move around. Like if we're doing like we were doing last year, where we're kind of moving guys from outside to inside and moving around. And yeah, but I think if you want to have a traditional slot guy, you want a faster guy. And this kid might have the speed, you know what I'm saying, to put him in a position to possibly be a good story. You got to be able to run some routes too, though. And you got to have good hands. You can't be out there with them hands like a couple of guys that we had. I ain't gonna call him names no more. But definitely was one of them. All right. We signed a linebacker, Lance Dixon from Toledo. He was a former 5-star recruit, top 15 player out of high school. 46 tackles, 2 forced fumbles in 2024. Transferred from West Virginia to Toledo. He was a former safety. He's 6'2", 233 pounds. So that might make sense why he went undrafted, because he switched from safety to linebacker. And a lot of times when you switch, it takes a couple of years to really kind of get the grasp of things. I know y'all probably going to say camp body. I'm going to go ahead and say probably a camp body. A guy that may make the practice squad and be developed.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Thoughts?
Nope.
Yeah. Camp body.
All right, so we also got a DB from Toledo. You might remember we got somebody else from Toledo. His name is Maxon Hook. He's a former teammate of Quinyon Mitchell.
I did.
He's a guy that they're saying may be this year's Reed Blankenship. And when they say that, you got to remember Reed Blankenship was an undrafted free agent. So when we look at these undrafted free agents, I always try to look and say, do they have potential? Because you can get guys that somehow, for some reason, undrafted. Maybe they draft reports are not good. People have a bias based on where they played, maybe size, maybe some tape, maybe they didn't perform as good as they could have at the combine or at their individual workout, because everybody's not a workout warrior. Some people don't do as well in workouts as they do on a tape. So, a lot of things can go into it. But they're saying that he could be that guy. He had almost 9 tackles a game, 8.92. He had a career of 356 tackles, 7 picks, and 22 passes defended in 52 games. Any other thoughts on Maxon Hook? Quinyon Mitchell pushed for that.
Right.
Get him from Toledo.
I think he probably makes the team. Let's hope. Definitely Quinyon knows his work ethic and everything. So who's to say he'll be on the starting 52 or 53? One of them.
Definitely he'll make a spot. I definitely think we need him because Reed has tendency to have concussions and get hurt sometimes. So, when he's out, we gotta have somebody to replace him. Um and I know y'all believe in Sidney Brown and Keely Ringo, but I'm just sorry.
Y'all who?
A
Y'all who?
majority of these Eagles fans. Oh, we got
Oh.
Keely and we got Sydney.
Oh.
I mean, Sydney might
I'm
come
trying
around,
to
but
figure out who y'all was.
Keely,
Gotta be healthy first.
that part. So yeah, we gotta have more options.
All right, then we signed a defensive back, Brandon Johnson from Oregon. He played 3 years at Duke before the year at Oregon. In this year with Oregon, he had 45 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and 4.5 tackles for a loss. So another guy that I think camp body, maybe practice squad. It depends on how many DBs we're going to have on the practice squad. So because it could be at least one guy that we think is going to be on the team and ends up on the practice squad. So he may end up, being future endeavored. But I think he at least has an opportunity to make the practice squad.
Yeah,
You ladies'
I do
thoughts?
too. Yeah, I think he'll be on a practice squad. I mean, you gotta have depth there too, because you just don't know who's gonna get hurt. So
Yep. I know we are doing a football show, but I just want to say the Celtics are big,
Once again. Yep.
choked again. Knicks doing their thing. Everybody talking about the Celtics making the championship. They might not even make past this round. They're looking very Clevelandish right now. Just saying.
they're looking very LA-ish right now as well.
What do you mean? Bull jive, orc hide, straw ride, Lakers in 5. Lakers been home in 5. Right?
Facts. Yeah, they're looking like
But,
James Harden when he was with Houston.
Oh,
We're not going to talk about James Harden in Game 7s.
I don't know what Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown be out there doing. Like, it's no excuse. It is really no excuse for them at all. Like, I don't
I
understand.
gotta breathe. I gotta be on the football. I gotta breathe. Don't do it. Don't do it. Running back Montrell Johnson Jr. from Florida is a 5'11", 216-pound back. Rushed for over 3,000 yards in his career. Had 33 rushing touchdowns. He's a powerful running back, big playability, and can catch the ball. So what that means is he'll end up on the practice squad because that's what we do.
Yeah.
He did transfer from LSU to Florida Gators. So, yeah, it sounds like everything we were wrong in a big back. So he'll probably end up on the practice squad or cut. Because we did the same thing with Elijah Holyfield a few years ago. Dude looked like a truck. We didn't give him a chance.
Right.
We kept King Gainwell instead. All right, we signed another DB. BJ Mays from Texas A&M. 6 foot 195. He's a versatile nickel corner. Has the size and speed to play outside. But if you got the size and speed, but you're known as a nickel corner, you know what that means. You probably need to work on technique. But he's in a good place to be able to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles are a good place for that. Another guy, camp body. Best case scenario, he probably makes the practice squad.
Special teams, practice squad. That's their spots right now.
Teams, yeah.
Now, this is a guy I know a little bit about. Wide receiver Taylor Morin from Wake Forest. He had 64 catches for 756 yards this year. He was a punt returner as well. Finished second in career punt return yards in the history of Wake Forest. with 809. Second in receptions with 227, and fourth in touchdowns with 21. And I want to put this in perspective with this gentleman. He was at Wake Forest. Wake Forest is not a school that's known for quarterback play. So to put up these type of numbers at a school that, let's be real, is not known for quarterback play, that says a lot, because you think if he went somewhere and he had the opportunity to play for someone that was a little bit more pass friendly, let's say, stats would have been even better. I think outside shot, he'll end up picked up somewhere, whether it's Philly or not, but he'll end up picked up somewhere. He's good enough that he'll end up somewhere.
I mean, we ain't got Brenton Covey no more.
Got offensive lineman.
Yeah, you don't got Brenton Covey.
Somebody got to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Then we got offensive lineman Holland Pierce from Rutgers. So this is another one of those big meaty men. 6'8", 341 pounds. New Jersey native. First All-American since 2009 for Rutgers. Second All-Big Ten honors in 2024 as well. Started 13 games, and here's an important thing, in left tackle. So we know there's a guy, anytime we hear talk about left tackle, we know there's a guy who probably at some point needs to start training his replacement. Just saying.
I'm sure Lane, when that time comes, I'm sure Lane will be just like how Jason was. I'm sure he will be near, like, okay, this is the guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
He might. One of these guys, he could have seen this guy and said, "Hey, if he's still out there, grab him. I'll train him. I'll get him right between me and Stout. He'll be right in 2 years." You never know. All right, we got another guy that's probably going to be at the edge of the practice squad or cut. Another running back, Shunderick Powell from Central Arkansas, ran for over 4,000 yards in his career, 42 total touchdowns, 800-yard games in 2024, two-time FCS All-American, 3-down back, potential special team standout. He probably won't even make the team, y'all.
He ain't gonna
and not that he doesn't have the skill, but we just don't love running backs. Like, we just do not love running backs that we sign. Like, we sign these guys, and they never get a chance.
Right. Because we already got Saquon, Dillon, and Shipley.
Mm-hmm.
You barely want to give Shipley any play. Some odd, strange reason.
You being nice when you say barely. So that's our 9-man free agent, undrafted free agent class. We didn't do a lot. Just 9 people this time. We're probably gonna keep maybe 2 of these 9 people.
I wanted my cousin to be one of them undrafted.
That's what it is.
He didn't get picked up by anybody. And he's a tall, beefy guy.
Still hope for him.
6'5", 6'5", 3 and some change.
Always hope. There's always hope. So, y'all, I was gonna talk about the depth chart, but I think we'll just save that for next week. That way we can kind of let things stabilize a little bit. Because I've seen some different ones with different people in different places. So I think next week we'll kind of see what the one that's on the Eagle site and kind of roll with that a little bit. But any other thoughts about our free agency so far and our draft picks or undrafted free agents, ladies?
I mean, Howie, I feel like he did good in this draft again. Getting the needs and not the wants and not the sexy picks. Went after and got the guys that's going to help out this team. And, hopefully we can bring it back home again. So that's where it starts again at the trenches, and then he just fits it in from there.
Well, Howie knew he better go do something after what he did. He ain't had no choice. I think he did pretty good. We'll see how it all play out, but he ain't had no choice, man. Like you let CJ go. We knew Sweat and all them was going. That ain't no problem, but some of the ones that we was like, bro, we could have kept them. You ain't had no choice but to go out there and make some shake. because we was trying to run it back.
Right. We could have signed Isaiah for that money. What 16?
I
What
mean-
8 years he got? We could have gave him that.
Oh, Joe. Oh, there's a lot of people we could have gave money to. You know? So and hopefully next year, because I think Jalen get paid next year, he can go ahead and get rid of Dern. Oh boy. Bryce Huff.
Oh, I told look, you never know. He might be going this. He might be going by camp. Somebody might outplay him.
Well, I hope so. Shoot.
Cause he's paying this guy, he ain't doing nothing.
Pay him all of that money on top of that. Sad.
That's Howard for you. Howard A.
Yeah. Howard Arterius.
Yo. Oh boy.
You better hope Saquon stay
Another week,
healthy.
y'all. That's why I guess that's why they ran and got AJ Dillon, right?
Right.
Theoretically.
2 bowling balls with feet.
I just hope they use him properly.
Will Shipley is definitely not that. Oh, well, we use the backups.
You know how we use Kenny G.
Third running back.
So we
use backup. But your third running back?
Yeah, we're not going. Shipley not going to get into garbage time.
He might not even dress half the games. They don't be showing no love to the third backs.
Or he could be on, or he might get a special teams job. He might be the one running kicks.
Possibly.
Possibly.
We'll be back next week. We'll talk depth charts and some other fun Eagles topics. We'll be ready. We'll see y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tell 4 people that you think are your friends and another 4 people who like you. Just because they may or may not like you does not mean they won't like us. They will like us. You know why?
They will.
We fun. Big season coming. Of course, we'll be sprinkling elements of how we are the champs all season. And don't tell me act like I've been here before. I won't. I have, but I won't. And we'll be back next week. Stay tuned. It will be good. I guarantee. We out.